It's called a promo,
Shut
kid.
your
And
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it. So go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. I'm glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's...
Okay, I had to turn it around. Everybody's repping. It's ridiculously funny because we're actually going over St. Paddy's Day themed episodes today, but nobody's wearing green. In fact, I'm British Bulldogged out today. The British scarf covers it. It's a sick shirt. I know. It's amazing.
I'm wearing green.
Shout out to Pro Wrestling Tees.
Shout out to Pro Wrestling Tees.
Also brought the British Bulldog himself with me, so... We're going to have a fun time today. We're time traveling. We haven't time traveled in a while, since like the 4th of July, I think, of last year.
I mean, to be fair, these normally take a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, they normally do. We've changed it a little bit, and we wanted to use all 4 people for this, and then Peacock ruining the catalog of Raw and SmackDown kind of botched this for me. But
yeah, thank you. Thank you, WWE in general, for having deals with 3 different partners and not putting anything anywhere.
I was going to say, do we blame Peacock? Do we blame Netflix? Nope, we blame TKO. Is who
we have to
blame.
blame TKO because literally, okay, little backstory before we start. I went to go watch NXT. I had ECW and I had NXT. Mm-hmm. WWE ECW.
Yeah.
Important distinction.
Very important distinction.
And I could not find NXT anywhere. I found clips of matches, and I found full matches, but I couldn't find the actual full show. And I think the whole problem here is that now that they have these vaults, those are where they're putting everything, but they're not putting entire shows.
Yeah, I was about to say the vault sucks. Sorry to be the one to tell you, the vaults suck. There's not enough content.
It's sad because a lot of the stuff they've been putting up, like the unseen matches and things like that, those are cool. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, we are losing entire shows, promos, interviews.
Yeah.
All we have are matches. And it's funny for a brand that is all about the story and moments to not have the interviews and the promos and all that.
When you put it in that context, it only makes it funnier.
Yeah.
So, like I said, change the formula. This episode is no means sponsored by Cage Match, but I want to give a huge thank you as always to Cage Match, because without Cage Match and Pro Wrestle Wiki, we would not get this episode done today. It wouldn't even be possible. So big shout out to Cage Match. They did the majority of the information I'm about to list down.
Let's go. You're gonna list it.
Yeah. Now
you have to do it in an Irish accent.
I will not do that because I feel like that might get botched, and maybe some people might feel offended by that, and I don't want to be that guy. But I will say this episode is sponsored by Retro Hall, and I'm happy of that fact. They love to support retro things, and this episode is as retro as it gets because we're starting in 1997. Yes, kids, there was a time before 2000.
Dang.
It's called the 90s, and it's called the Attitude. 1997 Monday Night Raw on March 17th. And what's interesting about this is I'm going to run down this Raw, and then I'm going to go to the WCW Nitro that was taking place at the exact same time on the exact same day. Because it was the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, they were fighting.
Okay, read this off to you here. The March 17th, 1997 edition of Raw is War is a professional wrestling television show of the WWF's Raw brand, which took place on March 17th, 1997 at the Onondaga War Memorial in Syracuse, New York.
Syracuse, I always love how it's spelled.
Reading that name, I really thought it was going to be in Canada. I was like, were they in Edmonton?
See, here's the thing. I have poor eyesight.
Yeah.
So I saw
Terrible.
Otunga. I was like, what, David Otunga's here already? Wow.
He was a child. In this event, we saw the opening match be a tag team match between the Legion of Doom, Road Warrior, Animal, you know.
Yeah.
And they defeated the Nation of Domination.
Dang. Which combination?
Crush and Savio Vega.
Oh, wow.
Nation of Domination. He's not beating The Rock. He wasn't going to beat Rocky Maivia.
Of course not.
We had Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China defeating Flash Funk of 5 minutes and 47 seconds. If you wanted the match time, I can give you that.
How could you guys do that to him?
I don't feel like the match times are like
No.
really that necessary. Tag team match after that was less than 3 minutes. We got Masquerita Sagrada Jr. versus Mini Goldust, and they defeated Mini Mankind and Mini Vader.
Oh, okay. So they were trying to. They
were doing a
mini
whole
push.
micro brawler thing. Then we had the Sultan with Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik defeating Mike Bell in under a minute. Maybe the match times are important.
Huh.
Here's a great one. We need to go grab Owen from over there and collect him with the British Bulldog. For the WWF European title, we had the British Bulldog with Owen Hart defeating Vader with Mankind and Paul
Ooh,
Bearer.
Okay, you know what?
But he won by DQ. So he didn't.
Oh. I'm seeing a common theme in here.
Oh, you didn't know?
Billy Gunn defeats Aaron Ferguson, 2
Who?
minutes even. What's the common theme? Now I'm curious.
The common theme is that this episode sucks.
The British Bulldog's on it. Hey,
I mean,
love the
he
Bulldog.
was, but a DQ finish?
Yeah, not the move. And then in our main event
It's time.
for the WWF World Heavyweight title in a steel cage match.
Okay.
Psycho Sid defeats Bret Hart.
All right. That almost makes up for the litany of squash /
Yeah.
under 5-minute matches that I had to go through.
Now, after that, here's a little bonus for you. Maybe you were at this event. You probably know then. If you weren't, you probably don't know. Dark match after the show. 6-man tag team match. Alfred Johnson, Goldust, and The Undertaker defeat the Nation of Domination's Crush, Farouk, and Savio Vega.
Did you say Alfred Johnson?
Yeah. Did I mess it up? Sorry.
Is it?
Ahmed Johnson.
I was about to say, isn't it Ahmed Johnson? Yeah.
See, sometimes when I'm reading stuff, I'm on autopilot, and I'm just...
See, I was just curious. I wasn't trying to correct you. I was
No,
like,
you
I
needed
just I assumed it was Ahmed Johnson. I was like, maybe there's a guy named Alfred Johnson. I don't know.
No, I
don't know.
forgot about Ahmed Johnson. I feel like if you didn't correct me here, somebody in the comments would have more inappropriately or like in a meaner sense corrected me, and I would be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, our bad.
I'm worse than AI. I'm on autopilot sometimes, and I just...
Oh Lord, that honestly, wow, that sounded like a.
There's still 2 more things from this event I gotta go over.
Okay.
2 other things that happened that weren't match related. Footage from a New Jersey press conference with Governor Christine Todd Whitman about bringing the WWF back to the state featured comments from WWF President Gorilla Monsoon confirming that the steel cage match later in the show would be a title match.
Okay.
Kevin Kelly conducted in-ring interview with Bret Hart discussing his title shot later in the show and his submission match against Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13.
You know what? That's slightly better.
Vince McMahon conducting an in-ring interview with Shawn Michaels in which Michaels invited himself to appear at the Slammies and to sit ringside for the world title match at WrestleMania. Okay.
You know, that's a very Shawn Michaels thing to do.
Yeah. Now let's go to 1997 Nitro.
Can you guys do better than 5 squash matches?
And that's what was different. I'm not gonna looking at it myself. I said, yeah, no, they didn't have a very good show, but they definitely had more wrestling. And I don't know if that was like their pitch back then, the same way like today AEW has way more wrestling than WWE does on all their featured programs, but maybe that was WCW's approach too. Dark match. Ice Train defeats unknown wrestler. It was probably a local jobber. It was like, no, didn't even get mentioned, but he lost to Ice Train.
Who's Ice Train?
Yeah, that's one for you to look up.
Oh, I'm scared.
Another dark match before the show. Bill Goldberg defeats John Betcha.
I bet you did. You saw that one coming,
Yeah,
right?
if you didn't, I would bet you didn't expect to face Goldberg today. I bet Goldberg didn't expect to be in the dark match. But he gets paid a lot of money either way, so who cares, right?
Yeah.
Dark tag team match. Ernest Miller and Glacier defeat Los Villanos. And that's Villano the 4th and Villano the 5th.
Dang, that's a lot of Alana.
Want to know who 2nd, 3rd, and 1st were. All right, now the actual shows matches. In the first match, Conan defeats Sabusa? I'm not familiar with him. Sabusa? I thought it was Tubby Mora.
Tsubasa.
Tsubasa, thank you. Tsubasa
Sounds familiar.
Acknowledge me.
After that, we had a WCW World Television title match. Ultimo Dragon defeating Steven Regal.
Okay.
Title change. I don't know how I would have felt at the time. I was only like, 2? If I was a little older, I might have been going for Ultimo Dragon, but now that I'm 30 years old in this timeline, I'm like, damn, come on, Regal. I'm a Regal guy.
Yeah, but Regal had a lot of time, a lot of titles in that time period, so.
Here's one that's not so exciting. In 51 seconds, the Giant defeats the Great Muta by DQ.
Boo! And I think I remember this show. I think I remember watching the show randomly.
Wow.
Just my back catalog, you know.
I love Muta. I love the Great Muta.
I love the Great Muta too.
I love the Muta too.
Why not?
Alright, after that, Dean Malenko defeats Steve McMichael. Eddie Guerrero defeats Hector Guerrero.
Okay.
Lex Luger defeats Scott Norton with Buff Bagwell and Vincent by his side, but that was via DQ. I roll.
Boo.
Then a tag team match. Mortis and Wrath, great tag team name, defeat La Parka and Psychosis.
L.A. Parka, or is it La Parka or L.A. Parka? I always thought it was L.A. Parka.
L.A. Parka, sorry, but at the same time, they had him and Psychosis had Sonny Ono as their manager.
It's an odd pairing.
I was like, what? Okay. I love Psychosis, by the way. That's one of my favorite luchadors like all time.
Yeah.
So I specifically love him in ECW, but well, I digress. This isn't ECW. This is WCW. Unfortunately. Singles match after that. Buff Bag. Oh no, he just wrestled twice. Okay, I had to make sure. Or Buff Bagwell was a manager earlier. That's what it was. I was like, why they got Buff Bagwell out here twice? He defeated Booker T in the co-main event, not the main event, but just before it, because the actual main event was Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, defeating Michael Wall Street in 50 seconds.
That was the main event.
Yep.
Who? Why?
They could have easily switched that around.
Yeah.
Oh no, neither was the main event. Thank God. There was a WCW World Tag Team title match to main event it. The Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, with 6, defeat Chris Benoit and Ric Flair.
Dang, okay.
Yeah, that sounds more main event worthy. I was like, dude, you had Bagwell and Booker, and you ended on Mr. Perfect versus Michael Wall Street?
Who the hell is Michael Wall Street?
Yeah, I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. Alright, let's go ahead and move along. Nothing extra coming out of that. Just, again, like WCW Nitro was focused on wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
WWF Raw's War was just doing whatever the they wanted and getting away with it, and it worked. It worked well.
I guess so. That doesn't work for me now, brother.
That's why I get so butthurt about the like Monday Night Wars, or like the reiteration of that into this whole AEW WWE thing, because like I've literally lived through each of the time periods and see how vastly different they are. I see tiny similarities sometimes, but vastly different.
Yeah.
It's like unless you go back and watch WCW at its worst, if you watch 99 and up, you'll understand why WWF was better at that time. And then we're not going to get into it now, but I'm not going to say it's better at this time. And I have every reason and every right to say that. Let's move along. WrestleMania 18. This is the big one. This is the big attraction of the March 17th Time Travel.
Time travel? Are we sponsoring Chime now?
No, leave me alone. It's time travel.
I know.
WrestleMania 18 was the 18th annual WrestleMania.
No.
Who thought that was going to be the
Thank
18th?
you, Wiki.
You didn't know?
Alright, it took place on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2002, at the Sky Dome in Toronto. The second WrestleMania at that venue after WrestleMania 6 in April 1990. You can ask Edge about that one. The event marked the final WrestleMania event held under the WWF name and the Attitude Era, as the company entered the Ruthless Aggression Era in April and was renamed to World Wrestling Entertainment a month later.
They got the F out.
Get the F out.
It was also the last WrestleMania held before the introduction of the brand extension just a week after the event. The record-breaking attendance for the Sky Dome of 68,237 allegedly grossed approximately 6.1 million Canadian and then 3.9 million US. WrestleMania weekend also included WWF fan access at the Canadian National Exhibit's Automotive Building.
Automotive building, okay.
Before the pay-per-view event began. I don't know why it's worded that way. Sorry, they botched that. I didn't. Don't put that on me. Yeah,
that's what's written right here.
I'm putting it up on the screen. They're reading it.
Okay, good. So you just need to circle it, highlight it, like.
This is the first time travel where you get the information too, so you know we're not that stupid. Mr. Perfect, Lance Storm, and Test faced Rikishi, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Albert in a 6-man tag team match on Sunday Night Heat, which was our dark pre-show matches beforehand, which is what now main event is.
What happened to Grandmaster 6A?
Rikishi won the match for his team after pinning Mr. Perfect following a bonsai drop. He wasn't there that day. Maybe he was out hurt. I don't know what was happening to Grandmaster 6A at WrestleMania 18.
Guess he wasn't so fly that day.
The actual pay-per-view started with a live performance of Superstar by rock band Saliva. Let's go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
The first... That was like a whole, what... Actually, it wasn't that much longer later. It was 6 years later. 23. Ooh. I love that song. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're getting off. First match of the night saw William Regal defend his WWF Intercontinental Championship against Rob Van Dam. Dude, I've watched this Mania like 7 times.
Yeah.
Twice in the match, Regal tried to use brass knuckles to set up the power of the punch on Van Dam. But on both occasions, Van Dam kicked them away. Van Dam won the match after a 5-star fog splash to win his first Intercontinental Championship.
Let's go. This is already a banger.
First of many. He had a many.
Drink it in, man.
After that, a title with a cooler design, just as relevant, WWF European Championship match. Diamond Dallas Page and Christian. Okay. I like that. Christian executed a neck breaker on Page, and Page performed a roll-up on Christian, but neither man scored a pinfall. Page won the match after executing a diamond cutter on Christian. DDP, brother. DDP.
Yeah. I can vibe with that. You
didn't see that one coming, did you? This one's a long one.
Oh,
WWF Hardcore Champion Maven defends his title against Goldust. Hardcore match. The match ended when both Goldust and Maven knocked each other out with trash can lids. Spike Dudley then came out and pinned Maven for a 3 count under the title's 24/7 rules. Spike became the new champion. We knew this. His celebration was short-lived as Crash Holly, the greatest hardcore champion of all time, chased Spike through the crowd, with Maven and Goldust following suit. In a promotion for the show's main event, Rock Band just thought we were going to the Rock.
The Rock.
Rock Band Drowning Pool made a live performance of Tear Away with a video package playing in the background. After the performance, the show cut to backstage where Crash Holly and Spike Dudley continued to fight. Al Snow tried to interfere by driving a golf cart along with referee Theodore Long. Good old Teddy. Driving a golf cart towards the two, but ended up crashing into some boxes.
He's fine.
Can't even drive, Al. Spike successfully fought off Holly by throwing him into a steel door, but ended up getting kicked by the Hurricane, who swung off a rope. Very heroic.
Let's go.
The Hurricane then pinned Spike to become the new hardcore champion.
That was amazing. I can picture it all in my head. And
stand
back. I'm glad we're in sync today. That's great.
Next, Kurt Angle fought Kane. Double K.
Let's go.
During the match, Angle executed Kane's signature flying clothesline. Confidently, Angle tried another, but Kane countered with a clothesline of his own.
Ugh.
Later on, Kane attempted a tombstone piledriver, but Angle grabbed Kane's mask, distracting him long enough for Angle to execute an Angle slam. Angle then applied the ankle lock on Kane, which was stopped when Kane reached the ropes. Rope break. With Angle still holding the foot, Kane used the other foot to perform an enziguri. Kane with an enziguri?
Well, okay.
A top rope attack by Kane was prevented when Angle rushed to the corner and executed a belly-to-belly suplex on him. Kane tried a chokeslam, but Angle reversed it into a roll-up using the ropes to win the match.
Oh, come on, Angle. What happened to integrity?
That is one of the eyes.
You just made the list!
After that, Ric Flair took on The Undertaker in a no DQ
Yeah,
match.
the brothers having matches back to back.
Yeah. I mean, and they faced each other, 3 times at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Ric Flair and Undertaker is a surprisingly good match. When I've looked at the whole streak recently, it's crazy, and this is such like a side shade note, so don't let me stay on it too long. I looked at the whole streak recently, trying to determine what the best matches are, and my top 3 is pretty easy. Number 3 would be number 2 is Undertaker Triple H Hell in a Cell. Michael's Undertaker is at the top of it. What was number 3? There were so many I had to watch through.
Yeah,
You can't let me stay on it too long. But I will say, going back on this one, I put it in the top 10. That's where that note was going.
Okay.
No, I'm not a Ric Flair guy, so that's saying something. Match started with a brawl outside the ring with Flair's back getting smashed into the ring post. Ugh. The Undertaker tried old school, but Flair pulled him down. Later, Flair locked the Undertaker in a figure 4 leg lock, which the Undertaker countered by executing a chokeslam.
Oh.
Arn Anderson then interfered and executed a spinebuster on the Undertaker, allowing Flair to pin the Undertaker for a near fall. You thought. The Undertaker then locked Anderson in a Dragon Sleeper, but Flair hit the Undertaker with a chair. Undertaker retaliated with a big boot and failed to perform a last ride attempt due to exhaustion.
No, you're fine.
But the Undertaker executed a tombstone piledriver on Flair and pinned him for the win. Undertaker then acknowledged his WrestleMania winning streak for the first time by holding up his hands with his fingers outstretched to show his 10 straight wins.
Hey, so would that technically be where it is? The streak is the idea of the streak is born.
Yeah, have you never seen The Last Ride?
I have not.
I will not spoil too much. The Last Dance was great, and us as sports fans, we know that. But WWE was like, well, if The Last Dance is doing so good, we're going to make something called The Last Ride. And it was a story about Undertaker's, last matches. And it was actually where he came out and said he was retiring. It was like a big bombshell, the last episode. And I'll keep it at that. But they discuss the streak during that. And they say, WrestleMania 9, that's when they started to realize, oh, we have something here. We actually could be doing something with this. And just look at what happened. And then thank God the picture has been taken down. I have the picture of Lesnar and Paul Heyman of when they beat this streak. It's one of the saddest moments in wrestling when I think about it now. But it has Paul Heyman's signature on it.
Damn,
that's why I have it still. Yeah, that's why I still have it.
Speaking of Edge.
6th match. Edge faced Booker T. That was I don't remember that one. Like I said, I've watched this Mania a lot.
Damn.
Booker T gained the advantage early on in the match. However, Edge recovered by countering Booker T's top rope attack with a Hurricane Rana and followed this up with a spinning heel kick off the top rope. Okay. Wow. I need to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
Booker T executed a scissors kick for a near fall, while Edge delivered a spear for a near fall. After performing his own version of Booker T's Spin-a-Rooney, Edge won the match with an execution.
I gotta go back and watch it just to see Edge's Spin-a-Rooney.
Backstage, the Hurricane was interviewed by Jonathan Coachman about winning the Hardcore Championship. The Hurricane's sidekick, Mighty Molly, appeared and suggested the two should go to their Hurr cycle. Just as the Hurricane headed in that direction, Molly smashed a frying pan over the back of his head and pinned him to become the new Hardcore Champion.
Molly!
Molly Holly. Mighty Molly.
You can't... No!
Here's one you might have forgot about. Next, Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestled Scott Hall with Kevin Nash in Hall's corner. Austin was left having to fend off both wrestlers. The NWO's teamwork enabled Hall to give Austin an Irish whip into an exposed turnbuckle.
Oh no.
Austin executed a stunner on Hall, but Nash pulled the referee out of the ring to break the count and attacked Austin. Austin then delivered a pair of stunners to both Nash and Hall.
Let's go.
But another pin attempt on Hall was prevented when Nash elbow dropped the second referee.
Oh my God, what are you doing, Hall?
Hall's razor edge attempt was reversed by Austin into a backdrop outside the ring. Eventually, Nash was forced to leave the stadium by WWF officials. Like, get out of here.
So you stop elbow dropping us.
Hall then executed a stunner on Austin for a near fall, but Austin retaliated with 2 stunners for the win.
How are you just gonna elbow drop referees? That's so uncalled for.
I can't, and when I read it, I picture it like I'm watching it at the moment. I cannot not picture Scott Hall doing the stunner, and it just does not look. It looks weird to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a mental image that you can't get out if you've seen it. After that, my mind does weird things, and I say that, and then what's the next mental image I think of? That diaper match he had with 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac.
Oh
and
my
X-Pac
god!
wearing a diaper.
I mean,
Please
once
let
you
me move
hear
on.
about it, you can't get it out of your
Yeah,
head.
it's like
so weird.
I'm over here trying to talk about the tag team 4 corners elimination match, and I can't because I'm thinking of X-Pac in a diaper.
Oh god.
Okay, WWF Tag Team Champions Billy and Chuck against the APA, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. And all the boys have Z's instead of S's. 'Cause it's 2002.
Let's go.
For the Dudleys' entrance, Saliva performed their theme, Turn the Tables, live. Didn't know that's what it was called. It's fitting.
Huh.
The APA were quickly eliminated first. That sucks. When Devon pinned Bradshaw following a 3D from both Dudleys.
So you got Billy and Chuck in there, and the APA are eliminated first?
Yeah. The Dudleys then set a table up outside. Stacy Keebler, valet for the Dudley Boys, tried to distract Jeff Hardy by showing him her thong, but
course.
Hardy spanked and kissed her before shoving her off the ring apron.
That's alright. Alright, Jeff.
The Dudleys tried to go for a what's up headbutt, love that, but Billy pushed Devon off the top rope, sending him crashing through the table outside. Bubba Ray Dudley was then given a twist of fate by Matt Hardy, followed by a swanton from Jeff. Matt covered Bubba Ray to eliminate the Dudley Boys. Billy and Chuck retained their titles when Billy hit Jeff with one of the tag team title belts, enabling Chuck to pin him. Billy and Chuck were like, had the biggest push back then. That's why when you said that, I was like,
I see. I tend to forget that.
Yeah, they had a huge. I love the conclusion of that when the wedding comes and like, we're not gay, and we're like, what do you mean? It was a different time too. It was that had a lot more humor to it rather than just like reality or relatability. We did it as a poor taste joke, but looking back, it was at least progressive. It was like, well, it was progressive, just not in the way. I don't think it was meant to be progressive.
That makes sense.
You were taking the positive out of it.
Drink it in, man.
All right. Backstage, the battle for the Hardcore Championship continued when Mighty Molly ran straight into the top half of a Dutch door, which was shut by Christian. Christian then pinned Molly to win the title.
This sounds like
I love the Hardcore title at that time. I love
knowing
it never stops.
This sounds exactly like what they would do for pay-per-views with the 24/7 title.
Yeah, but that was in such more poor taste. With the Hardcore title, you at least... And again, it hadn't been done before, so there was nothing to base it off of. 24/7 title kind of gets a bad advantage in that sense, because it's ripping off that initial idea, but the Hardcore title was that it was hardcore, and like there was so much more to it, where the 24/7 title, like they just had the people they didn't want to use on TV anymore just running around doing stupid shit. And the lowest point for me, I liked it, I thought it was a cool callback until we started doing the R-Truth and Drake Maverick thing, and it just...
Which is funny because that's the only thing people remember about that title now. That and like tons of celebrities won it.
Yeah, it was.
I think the real part for me,
ugly.
like I like the R-Truth Maverick stuff. Not to go off topic too much, but the celebrity thing was where I started being like, okay, maybe not.
Back to WrestleMania 18. In the main attraction, The Rock faced Hollywood Hogan, and I say the main attraction, not the main event. The main attraction.
Yes.
In a match dubbed as Icon versus Icon. Despite The Rock's portraying a face and Hogan a heel, the Canadian crowd overwhelmingly cheered Hulk Hogan over The Rock instead. During the match, The Rock applied the sharpshooter, but the referee was down and unable to acknowledge a submission. The Rock released the hold and tried to revive the referee, but Hogan hit a low blow and a rock bottom for a near fall.
Damn.
The two tried their respective finishers, the rock bottom and the leg drop, but each kicked out. After two more rock bottoms and a people's elbow, The Rock pinned Hogan and won the match. Bless you.
I call bull.
You're allergic to Hulk Hogan, I know.
Yeah.
The Rock pinned Hogan and won the match. After the match, the two shook hands with respect. As The Rock left the ring, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall came to the ring and verbally berated Hogan for showing respect to The Rock. Hall and Nash then attacked Hogan, ending Hogan's involvement in the NWO.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty crazy. The Rock returned and saved Hogan from further attack. As a sign of respect, The Rock stopped Hulk from leaving the ring and asked him to pose for the crowd, turning Hogan into a face for the first time since 2000.
Damn.
Hogan later gave an interview in 2013 which indicated that he and The Rock changed the thrust of the match on the fly based on the crowd's response. So that's my big takeaway from the Icon versus Icon match that I never get over is let's take Hulk Hogan and him and his personality aside. Let's just look at the Icon aspect of it. He went in there as a heel with the NWO. And based off of, yes, we have that much power. Fans have that much power. Based off of that crowd's reaction, changed the whole course of Hogan's storyline. Now he's a babyface, and he's not even with the NWO anymore. And that wouldn't have happened if Toronto wasn't like, yeah.
So it's crazy to think like what would have happened if they wouldn't have cheered. So would we still be looking at the NWO to this day?
Maybe. Like, we don't know. It's the coolest butterfly effect to think about. Hogan wasn't going to leave the NWO until Toronto said, we love you.
What would this beer be? The real world beer.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they look back on this and like, that was the main event. That wasn't the main event. It was the main attraction. I'm glad it's worded that way. It wasn't the main event. And this isn't either. This is our penultimate match. And I always love that term. The penultimate match.
Nice little term, yeah.
Jazz defended the WWF Women's Championship in a triple threat match against Trish Stratus. Shout out Trish Stratus, Toronto's own.
Thank you, Trish.
And Lita. Near the end of the match, Trish attempted a Stratusfaction, but Lita threw her out of the ring.
Damn.
With Lita sitting on the top turnbuckle, Jazz followed and delivered a fisherman suplex, allowing her to pin Lita and retain the title.
Damn, that was a quick one.
Alright, we gotta wrap this one up too. At the parking lot, Christian was getting ready to leave the stadium with the taxi. However, Maven pulled Christian out and quickly pinned him to win back the Hardcore Championship. Maven then hopped into the taxi and left, leaving him as the final Hardcore Champion of the night.
Give me a hell yeah!
See,
And he'll tell you all about it on YouTube.
I already made my point earlier.
Looks like we've had enough
Yeah,
talk.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Maven's YouTube. That is ridiculously abundant with too many videos.
That's fair.
In the final match of the evening, the actual main event, Chris Jericho defended the WWF Undisputed Championship against Triple H. And this was a big... Now, we love Chris Jericho. We don't necessarily love Triple H as far as, like, timeline of fans go. You'd probably say Chris Jericho gets more fan love than Triple H does, looking back.
Yes.
I don't know. At this time, that couldn't be possible because Chris Jericho was a great heel, and he sneakily, won the Undisputed Championship when everyone thought either The Rock or Stone Cold would be that. Triple H comes back from that injury in 2002, and he is as hot as it gets.
Yep.
Brick oven status. So, Triple H had Drowning Pool perform their version of his theme song, The Game, live.
Okay.
With Triple H's leg bandaged, both Jericho and Stephanie McMahon gave numerous shots at the leg during the match.
Damn.
Triple H outsmarted the two by dodging Jericho's attack, causing him to collide with Stephanie, who was standing on the apron. Outside the ring, Triple H went for the pedigree on Jericho through an announce table, but Jericho countered into a back body drop through the Spanish announce table, and
Of course.
that was a great callback during the match because, again, like, Triple H got injured doing a pedigree on the announce desk, and we've all seen it in the "Don't Try This at Home" video. He, like, completely tears his ACL off the bone. It's one of the worst injuries. So yeah, that was a cool callback to kind of scare fans, and then we're like, "Oh, psych, going to the Spanish table."
Yeah, we're fine.
Stephanie then tried to hit Triple H with a chair when referee Earl Hebner, almost called him Harbor, Earl Hebner, interceded. Stephanie pushed Hebner aside, but was met by a pedigree from Triple H. Pedigree's your wife, bro?
No, she's fine.
Jericho then struck Triple H in the head with the chair while Hebner was attending to Stephanie for an unsuccessful pinfall attempt.
Damn.
Nana! Jericho then tried a pedigree on Triple H, but the latter reversed it into a catapult into the turnbuckle. Triple H executed the pedigree on Jericho and pinned him to win the title, and then we got the iconic at the end of the show. He holds up both belts. You could grab them, but I don't want to.
Big for trips, you know.
I'm really. I knew that one was gonna be a long one. I'm glad we got through it in an efficient time manner. Crazy, like it's the first time we've ever had a WrestleMania on a time travel.
Oh yeah, huh?
Never have, because I mean you get one day out of the year.
True.
We pick one day.
I mean, hey, it's WrestleMania season, so
Yeah, it fit perfectly. I didn't expect it to be on the road to WrestleMania season, but I'm glad we got it covered. I think I might say WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 20 have been brought up more times than WrestleMania 41 even has this season. It's weird the way we were just like, yeah, these two are great. Now, you guys stay tuned. We're going to get in like a month. In fact, I think it's going to be a month from today. We have the WrestleMania checkpoint episode where we actually go over what's been going on.
oh Lord.
You got to have the checkpoint. Yeah, checkpoint. Right before Mania.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, let's get to Raw 2003. These are the years that, as a wrestling fan, you just cherish so much. I'm about to get into a lot of great ones. Raw 2003. And here was the matches that took place on it. Kane and Rob Van Dam, great tag team, versus Chief Morley and Lance Storm. Do you remember Chief Morley?
No.
I don't. I was like, can you pull it? Because I feel like it is somebody we know, but like in a different gimmick. And I'm like, it's not ringing a bell. I'll continue on while he looks it up. Maven defeated Rico with the 3-minute warning. Jamal and Rosie by his side. Because, of course, what's up?
Chief Morley is Val Venus.
I knew it was somebody I knew,
Chief
and
Morley
I hate
is Val Venus.
I hate Val Venus, and I'll gladly say it because I never plan on talking to that. I don't even want to call him a man. He's not a real man.
Yeah.
Val Venus doesn't belong here. That's Chief Morley. And he lost to Kane and RVD.
In 4 minutes.
With 3-minute warning in the next minute. No, sorry, I had to. The Hurricane defeated Rodney Mack with Theodore Long by disqualification. I hate these matches. Rodney Mack, I don't remember. I do remember Teddy being with Mark Henry and a couple other people. Let's look up Rodney Mack. I like when he looks up stuff. And on the next match, Steven Richards and Victoria defeated Jazz and Trish Stratus. Why was Steven Richards wrestling Jazz and Trish Stratus?
2003. This is just... Wow.
Is it?
Bro, Rodney Mack looks ripped.
I, just looking at the first photo you pulled up, though, I literally thought it was about to be Jonathan Gresham. I was like, you're lying. You're a liar.
No.
I know Jonathan Gresham.
Even that's like a ripped version of Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's
jacked.
like Jonathan Gresham with... No. Rodney Mack, the only thing he competed in ECW during its final months. Wow. He trained under the Junkyard Dog. Okay.
That's cool.
He's married to Jazz. Okay.
Okay.
And they co-own Dog Pound Dojo in San Antonio with NWA wrestler, or former NWA wrestler at this point, Thunder Rosa.
That's really cool. That was a cool... You didn't know. You didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know? Well, it's Dog Pound. Yeah.
Man. After Steven Richards fought women, Chris Jericho and Christian defeated Scott Steiner and Test with Stacy Keibler. And this was before WrestleMania 20, so they're still friends. Triple H with Ric Flair defeated Goldust with Booker T.
Oh, I love Goldust and Booker T.
This is a little callback because we just talked about this during the Cards Subject to Change game show. Triple H and Goldust had a WrestleMania match. It was on yours, and you were like, "Yep, that didn't happen." They fought each other a lot.
I knew that. I knew it happened. I just didn't think it happened at WrestleMania.
Triple H and Goldust, they have wrestled a lot more than people realize. You think it's like, oh, you didn't wrestle Goldust that much, but Dustin's been out here, man.
Yeah.
All right, last match, main event. Steve Austin defeated Eric Bischoff with Chief Morley in a no disqualification match. The fact that Chief Morley made it into the main event as the manager for Eric Bischoff.
Wait. So you're telling me your main event is Stone Cold?
Yes.
Hell yeah. You know,
Give me a hell yeah.
versus a with another.
Yes. This is all correct.
Okay.
We're getting beep, boop, bop. Let me make sure I'm on the right track here. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, we're getting to Austin's last match, WrestleMania 19. It's March 2003, so April 2003 is when that happened. Yeah. He wasn't really wrestling that much. He wasn't cleared really to wrestle.
So he had to take on a guy who can't wrestle.
Yeah, and what they did creatively to kind of rip him in that is like, okay, we can get him to do a couple physical things, but predominantly let's just have him on Raw as the co-general manager. And they were doing a whole co-general manager thing, but never agreeing. Stone Cold just did whatever the hell he wanted.
Give me a hell yeah!
As he should.
These are some short notes for the next few.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Some of them are going to run a little quickly. SmackDown, didn't have as much substance back in the day. I had a lot of fun watching it as a kid, but looking back, it didn't have as much substance as what they were putting on Raw.
Right.
We're going to SmackDown 2005 on that note. That's why we're talking about SmackDown already. SmackDown 2005 was a quick one. Kurt Angle defeated Marty Jannetty in a Kurt Angle invitational match, and this was building up to WrestleMania 21, Angle Michaels. This is the sexy Kurt bit, or the week before was the sexy Kurt bit, and then beat up Marty Jannetty is kind of taking shots at Michaels.
Let's go.
Booker T defeated Luther Reigns.
Luther Reigns.
Yeah, somebody I remember vaguely, and I'm they really tried to push him, and I always wonder when they got Roman, and his name was Lakai, they're like, we like this Reigns name. We can do this still. We can still do the Reigns thing.
We can do Reigns. we can take the Reigns.
Oh, here's a great one that I love, because Cruiserweight action, one of my favorite Cruiserweights. Paul London defeated Billy Kidman.
Heck yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, and Rey Mysterio defeated John Bradshaw Layfield, the Basham brothers, Danny and Doug Basham, which
I vaguely remember this one. I think I might have watched this episode. No, because
I wasn't watching SmackDown.
I didn't watch the Marty Jannetty part. I might have seen like a clip or something, because I remember that specific match.
Here's my timeline. I watched wrestling off and on where I could or how I could, 2004 and 5 through this is on, and I literally, please make fun of me for this, I literally thought The Rock was Cobra.
What?
So that's where I was at pre-2006. Then my sister got into John Cena. I was like, you watch wrestling? And then she showed me Saturday night's main event, John Cena versus Edge, and I haven't stopped since. I cannot not be obsessed with wrestling since that. So I didn't start watching SmackDown until this year, 2006.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was looking at a picture of Luther Reigns, a little off topic, but I remember this dude.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
I said vaguely. No, I remember him pretty well, and I go back and watch a lot of old stuff, so it makes sense that I remember him. But SmackDown 2006, this was where I started watching, and I do remember this.
Yeah, this is about the time that I think 6 and 7 was about the time I started as well.
Yeah.
So.
Finlay defeated Bobby Lashley in a Money in the Bank qualifying lumberjack match, and went on to WrestleMania 22's Money in the Bank.
I remember this match.
Little spoiler, because we're not going to talk about it otherwise, Bobby Lashley ended up making on that Money in the Bank anyway, so he got the last chance spot.
Let's go.
We got to get Finlay in there. St. Patty's Day. Patty's Day.
That'll come back later too.
Crystal and Paul Burchill, shout out to the Pirate, defeated Jillian Hall and William Regal.
I remember this.
That's an odd one.
This whole feud. They had a feud for a little bit.
Please educate me on the Paul Burchill William Regal feud.
I don't remember what. I think they used to team.
I remember it too. Yeah, I do remember.
And then I want to say it's. I hate to put it this way, but I think it's something to do with the women that really get them yeah.
Booker T defeated Jeremy Young.
Who?
I almost clicked on it like I could click the link. Booker T defeated Jeremy Young. Yeah, look that up. I'll go to the random main event that you did not expect to hear. Oh, it's not the main event. Thank God. I looked at his last match. I was like, that's the main event? There are other matches on this. Matt Hardy defeated Road Warrior Animal by DQ in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. That's how Matt Hardy made it into the 22 Money in the Bank match.
What?
Yeah. What? Road Warrior Animal, which the Road Warriors were still around at this time. And a lot of people remember. All right. Thank God that wasn't the main event. I tricked myself. I do that. I'm just reading off the script. Chris Benoit defeated Orlando Jordan, not for the U.S. title, but there was a U.S. title on the line somewhere in there. Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio defeated Mark Henry and Eminem, Mercury and Nitro, if you're not familiar.
with Daivari and Melina.
Melina, I would have expected, but Daivari,
Why was so?
was he with Mark Henry? Yeah, he was.
Yes.
And then he was like, "Psych, I found a bigger guy," and went with the Great Khali.
Yeah, that's how it
It wasn't too much longer. All right, and then the dark match. I always love finding a good dark match that took place on this day. Kurt Angle defeated Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and The Undertaker in a 4-way match. I had to read that right. I was like, is it a tag match? Mark? Yeah, okay. To retain the World Heavyweight title. So they had a World Heavyweight title dark match. That was a fatal 4-way with Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and The Undertaker. The Undertaker, the dark match?
Damn, yeah.
You didn't want to... That's the main event, and I get it. I love a good, like, surprise dark match, title match, but you know who's winning those.
True.
What you got for Jeremy Young?
I mean, I was looking up the Pro Wrestling Wiki, and literally...
I thought that was the ECW TV title. I'm disappointed.
It's... I don't know what title it is.
That's the ripoff. It's shaped and designed like the ECW TV title, but it's a ripoff of it.
Damn,
It's the exact...
there's not a lot I can find on him. Just his nicknames were the Fire and the Cowboy.
And his move was the torture.
The torture.
He tortured fans by making them watch. I love my job. All right, let's pull this one. I'm moving on to, 2006? I was just in 2006. 2008, okay. 2008
Let's go.
Raw. It was a great time to be watching Raw. Though, I don't remember the opening of this Raw, and I was watching every Monday, so I know I watched it, but I don't remember CM Punk defeating Carlito in the opener. That's for sure.
Dang, okay.
Umaga defeats Paul London and Brian Kendrick in a handicap match. Not surprising, just
I will say, playing the showcase mode in 2K25 really made me go back and appreciate Umaga.
Made you acknowledge.
Yeah, I acknowledged Umaga. I was like, you know what? Or maybe he's just really fun to play as. I don't know.
We had an episode called We Acknowledge Umaga, and then the next week found out that he did some problematic shit in his time on this earth, and we're like, well, sucks to be us.
Did he?
He did, unfortunately. There's a woman who has an account from overseas on Tribute to the Troops. He did some inappropriate things with her that she did not consent to. It's been swept under the rug because the man is dead, so we're all supposed to just leave it alone.
I was on that episode too, and I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's one of those things where, especially with that company, just hate to keep throwing knocks at them, but they got to step it up if they want people to stop judging them by this. There's so many things that have happened, and so many people have done so many bad things there that we're kind of at a point now where we've plateaued and we've been like, all right, we can accept it, but we have to keep moving. We have to acknowledge it, no pun intended, have to acknowledge it, have to make sure everyone knows that we're not just sweeping it on the rug too, but also that our job is to have fun and talk about wrestling. So we separate it while also not condoning it.
We don't accept it. We don't. It's just.
I'll fight Umaga. Yeah, I'll fight Umaga.
He would. Okay, moving on.
Somebody who has just as much a chance as me, Colin Delaney, gets beat by JBL. And when did they put Colin Delaney on Raw? I don't remember that. What's up with that? I know I watched this Raw, and I don't remember any of these.
Vaguely remember it.
I had to. Maybe my mom grounded me this week. I don't know.
But then the next match, I'm like...
I do remember this. Because I remember every match he had when his career started being on the line. Ric Flair defeats Mr. McMahon, street fight. And I remember when he had to fight Triple H during it. I was like, yep, now you got to fight Triple H. And Triple H is like, I hate to do it. And he doesn't even get the job done.
Come on, Trips.
Gotta leave it to Shawn Michaels.
That's what I was going to say.
Alright, tag team match. Candice, Michelle, and Maria defeated Jillian Hall and Victoria.
I think I remember the show now, because I don't know what it is about, like, especially Candice, Michelle in tag team matches. I don't know why, but
yeah,
I just remember those specifically.
I think Candice, Michelle, and Maria, and it's like embedded in my childhood brain. Teenage boy. I remember, this is so random. I don't hate it. I shouldn't use the word hate. It's not fun how many like side notes I keep getting out of this episode, but I just want to bring up, I was very confused as a young boy whenever Maria got low blowed and lost a match that way. I was like, wait, what? I mean, I'm not a girl, so I don't know what hurts and what doesn't. And I always assume, like, well, if you don't have balls, it doesn't hurt. This is a weird thing, I know, but I didn't get that. I never got that. I was like, what? Low blow for the finish. Intercontinental title match. Big Show defeats Chris Jericho by DQ. Doesn't win the belt. And this was right after Chris Jericho came back, had short hair, but long tight still. Is like one of my favorite periods. He's had a lot of periods, so I can't really say anymore. I think maybe the list might have them all topped.
I was about to say, yeah.
That Jericho, man. That Jericho. 02 Jericho, 01 Jericho, 16 Jericho. Like, he's had some great phases.
Yeah, he's the face of the Jericho show. Yeah.
Stop. That wouldn't be for a couple more years. And our main event. And this one was a pretty crazy one because they were rivals, but they needed to be a team on this day.
Yeah.
John Cena and Randy Orton defeat Brian Kendrick, Carlito, Charlie Haas, Cody Rhodes, D.H. Smith, Hardcore Holly, Jim Duggan, John Bradshaw Layfield, Lance Cade, Paul Burchill, Robbie, Santino Marella, Snitsy, Scooper Crazy, Trevor Murdoch, Umaga, and Name Redacted by DQ. This is the whole play out of it. John Cena eliminates Santino. John Cena eliminates Trevor. John Cena eliminates Lance. Randy Orton eliminates Super Crazy. John Cena eliminates Robbie. John Cena eliminates D.H. Smith. Randy Orton eliminates Paul Burchill. Randy Orton eliminates Val something. Randy Orton eliminates Cody Rhodes.
Ooh, okay.
Thought he was going to be your legacy. Again, not for another year. Brian Kendrick, Carlito, Charlie Haas, Hardcore Holly, Jim Duggan, JBL, Snitsky, and Umaga were eliminated via DQ, and that is in German, so I had to translate. I was like, I can't read the German, but I can tell what it says.
Where did there's DQ?
We're eliminated via
eliminatory.
disqualification.
I can't.
We're eliminated via disqualification.
Yeah, I know. Trying to pretend like I know things that I don't.
Now you watched this next one. We're going to go over it, and we're going to breeze right through it. I'm sorry. This was what was funny for the build-up. We've been building to this episode for like a month, and everybody got assigned 2 to 3 episodes to go watch when we thought we could watch them all. This man got 2009 ECW, and then that's where we realized after he watched it, oh, we can't do this the way we thought. So he just watched it for nothing.
Yeah, it's terrible because I had one thing that I really, really did not want to go back and remember, and one thing that I really, really wanted to go back and remember, which was that coming up in NXT.
Well, did you know that the dark match was Mike Knox defeating Hacksaw Charlie Haas?
I have many questions. Actually, no, because I know they were trying to push Mike Knox. The question I have is Hacksaw Charlie Haas?
Yeah, he was not impersonating Jim Duggan, but it was kind of like a Bob Backlund, Darren Young thing where like Jim Duggan took Charlie Haas under his wing, and it did not last at all. It was like one of the shortest things they tried.
Okay.
Hacksaw Charlie Haas. Doesn't make sense.
Moving on.
All right, actual show. Tag team match. Mark Henry and Shelton Benjamin with Tony Atlas defeated Christian and MVP. MVP was a face at that point. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was an okay match, actually.
Yeah, I loved Christian in ECW. I loved Shelton Benjamin in ECW. I was glad both of those guys had a place where they could be top guys. But I did not like 2009 ECW. I just liked their opportunity.
Yeah.
Singles match. My guy, Evan Bourne, defeated Jamie Noble, my other guy.
What's up with that?
I don't have, that's mixed emotions.
It was, as you saw, a pretty quick match.
Yeah.
Evan Bourne did like 2 cool things and then it was over.
That's Evan Bourne for you.
He was coming back off of injury.
Huh.
He had a ankle injury. He was coming back off of ankle injury, so they made a big deal about that. And it was like, oh, can he still go like he used to? And, he showed he could, so.
Main event, the guy who we're really trying to push in this new ECW was Finlay with Hornswoggle. And he defeated Paul Burchill. And I thought Paul Burchill left in like 07, so I'm like, what? Okay.
No, he was still there. He was doing the thing with Katie Lee, and that was, yeah. But Finlay actually pushed. He was going to be in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Really weird field. Finley, Kofi Kingston, God, I can't remember, Christian, everyone else.
Punk was in there.
Punk was in there? Was Punk in there too?
Yeah, it's 2009, so he won the 2009 Money in the Bank.
Oh, he did, huh? Yeah, because looking at the field, I think Punk was the one that I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I have one other thing before we move on. I don't have it listed, and I'm wondering if you watched it. I saw that there was a segment with the Colognes, the Bellas, and Miz and Morrison, but I don't know that much about it.
This was the main event.
So this was the closer.
This is how they close the show, right? So basically, the Miz and Morrison were I want to say they were tag champions of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But the Colognes might have been tag champions of another sort.
Yeah, this was right before, at 25, pre-show, kickoff show, we unified them. That's when we finally unified them, got all the belts, and then those were the two teams unifying them from. I just look at those belts and I think of like every other person that held them together.
But basically the whole segment was the dirt sheet.
Yeah.
Miz and Morrison, they went and they got this butt with wigs.
Yeah.
And they were the Colognes because they were interviewing the Colognes.
I remember that.
And then they had the Bella Twins with them, and like Miz had one, Morrison had another, and they were like, "Why did you choose us over them?" And like, I want to say it was Bree was apprehensive, and Nikki was like, "What are you doing? Like, these are our guys." Like, so there was turmoil there, and then the Colognes come out, fight, and the Bellas fight each other, and it's a whole thing.
Mm. Now we're going to move on a whole heap of years to 2014, but this is a legendary episode. Well, actually, I hate to bust your balls. It's past and legendary episode. The Raw before was one of the most iconic Raws leading up to WrestleMania 30, but the whole WrestleMania 30 road to WrestleMania on WrestleMania 30 is some of the best television they had.
Right.
So, Raw 2014 starts with Triple H addressing Daniel Bryan's occupation of Raw the week before. And this is in San Antonio, Texas, as well. San Antonio gets a lot of love on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
Now, I'm reading this straight off of WWE.com, where you can even go review this Raw and watch clips. I'm not going to play the clips. I don't have the rights to play those clips, but you can see their thumbnails right here.
Let's go.
How fitting that it's St. Patrick's Day, because after the events of last week's Raw, Triple H is seeing green. And not the DX neon green either. Nah. The angry, sick-to-your-stomach kind of green after you are forcibly coerced into accepting a WrestleMania match you didn't want. However, given that he's... And then, well, you see the ... First match. The Real Americans, them the people, defeat WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos.
Who were the Real Americans?
Cesaro and... Jack Hager. I want to say Hager. It was Swagger. Yeah.
Oh, that's another note from that ECW.
We, the people. Hit it quick. We're on another one.
Jack Swagger was the ECW champion.
Yeah.
That was, oh, I hated that.
It's one of the 2009 ECW champions, but also Christian was. Sheamus defeats Titus O'Neil in a St. Patrick's Day showdown.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It would have been mad if Sheamus lost the St. Patrick's Day showdown. Then Bray Wyatt interrupted John Cena, leading up to their iconic WrestleMania 30 match.
Let's go.
Daniel Bryan defeats WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton, and it was a great match.
Randall.
Paul Heyman addressed The Undertaker. Again, we're building to WrestleMania 30. I lost my note. It went away.
It didn't get... It just...
He said, nah.
Yeah, it scrolled all the way up on him.
It's fine.
Nah.
I'm fine. Goldust defeated Fandango was the next one.
Not Fandango.
Yep. Kane accused Jerry the King Lawler of orchestrating Occupy Raw. Whatever sense that makes.
Do you think King would have... You know, I'm going to shut up.
I don't think Jerry the King Lawler is smart enough to accomplish anything.
That was the point, yeah.
The Funkadactyls defeat Divas champion AJ Lee and Tamina Snuka.
Tamina Snuka. You know, no one meaner than Tamina.
Did you know that... Yeah, are you familiar with the Funkadactyls theme? The funk is on. Somebody call your mama.
Yeah.
Not the first person to use that theme. WWE used that theme before for somebody else, and I can't remember the name of the character, but there was another character that had that exact theme. And I was watching old Raw, saw it, was like, huh. Yeah. It
I
wasn't the first
vaguely
time.
remember that too.
That was,
Dude, if I even looked at it, how did I look that up?
all right, what was next? We did the Funkadactyls.
Yep.
Okay. Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, IC champion Big E. Yeah, great
Ooh,
time.
okay.
Defeated Mark Henry. Oh, and Mark Henry. He was on their team. Okay. Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, Big E, and Mark Henry defeated Alberto Del Fritos, Ryback, Curtis Axel, and Damian Sandow.
That's a whole group of misfits, but it's not
Yeah.
the actual misfits.
Rando 8-man tag. Bray Wyatt defeats Kofi Kingston. And then in the closer, Daniel Bryan and Triple H meet in a summit.
A summit.
A summit, it was them just jumping him.
Well, if you wanted to know who used that theme
Yeah.
before, Ernest the Cat Miller.
Yeah, that's right, the cat.
And
It was
also,
the cat.
apparently, Xavier Woods briefly used it before he was in the New Day.
Huh, okay. I'll accept it, because that makes sense. The cat was the one I was trying to think of course. So, in case you didn't know. Now to move over a couple years to SmackDown 2016. Not a bad time. I really loved this era of SmackDown 16, 17, post the second draft. It was, yeah. Okay. Where did it take place? In Cincinnati. And was Dean Ambrose already there?
That's what I was about to say.
Roman Reigns kicked off Thursday's hottest show amid chants of Roman from the WWE Universe as he wasted no time with his entrance, entering the arena via SmackDown stage rather than through the WWE Universe. The big dog recounted how he brought the big fight to the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Triple H Monday when he delivered an absolutely brutal attack that left the game with 6 staples in his head.
Let's go.
Okay, matches. Dolph Ziggler defeated The Miz. They
That was
faced each
probably
other
a
a
pretty
lot.
decent match.
Bubba Ray Dudley with Devon Dudley defeated Goldust. This is 2016, not 2003.
Bubba Ray and Goldust are wrestling each other in 2016.
Yes. On SmackDown.
Now that I think about it, that makes sense, because this is around when Goldust was... he teamed with Cody a little bit, right? Or Stardust.
No, this was... Oh, it's a little bit... It's in that gray area. Because they didn't. He was teamed with R-Truth at one point during that.
The Golden Truth.
Yeah, there was a lot of different variables there, but the Dudleys had just came back the Monday after WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston with his New Day cohorts defeated King Barrett and Alberto Del Rio, and this was during the League of Nations thing, so Rusev and Sheamus were there. League of Nations surprisingly had a better run than people remember. In fact, they even won a WrestleMania match before.
I remember that.
Getting the legends to come out and beat on them.
Yep.
Kevin Owens defeated AJ Styles.
They got a good 11 minutes out of it too. Okay.
But this wasn't Face of America. Excuse me, I had a baby bar. This wasn't Face of America. So I do AJ Styles on SmackDown, the house that he built in 16-17. Man, if you don't appreciate it, I don't respect you, because it's something that needs to be appreciated.
That's fair.
I have a whole DVD of AJ Styles SmackDown matches. He did that well there. They made a whole DVD out of it.
I mean, yeah, that's a testament enough.
Yeah, he got the big push. Now,
Speaking of testaments,
yeah, our last show we're going to cover today just happened a couple years ago. 4 years ago, NXT 2021.
I remember watching this one for
Okay.
sure, so I'm excited to talk about it.
With their NXT title showdown set for TakeOver Stand and Deliver, Finn Balor and Karrion Kross were face-to-face for the second week in a row. And the tension was palpable, with the Prince declaring Kross could not beat him. He can't. When Scarlett proclaimed that she had foreseen both men draped in gold. NXT Tag Team Champions Oni Lorcan and Danny Burke joined the fray, insisting Balor should be facing Pete Dunne and not Cross. I agree.
Yeah.
Birch, I agree.
So again, Cross's presentation in NXT was crazy. It was really cool. Like there's besides, the whole Adam Cole cooking him on the mic thing.
Cooked him.
But besides that, like he had this presence in NXT that was unmatched.
Yeah.
And even now, like I like Karrion Kross's character now, but it's nothing like it was back then, for sure.
In the matches, Dexter Lumis defeated Austin Theory.
Okay.
Legado del Fantasma, Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde with Santos. Defeated Breezango.
This was a banger of a 9-minute match.
Defeated Breezango, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. If you don't know who Breezango is and can't put it together. Then Dakota Kai with Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez, whichever you prefer, defeated Zoe Stark.
If I remember correctly, I don't know if this was around the time, because Io and Zoe had won those tag team championships.
Tommaso Ciampa defeated Marcel Barthel, and I love saying that name, so I'm going to say it again. Marcel Barthel.
You don't remember, we used to be Ludwig Kaiser.
LA Knight defeated August Gray, and I don't remember, but wasn't this his NXT debut? Wasn't
LA
this the
Knights?
first? Yeah.
I think so. So he had...
If I'm not mistaken, this is when LA Knight debuted in NXT. Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan defeated Finn Balor and Karrion Kross with Scarlett to retain the NXT Tag Team Championship, so she lied. They weren't draped in gold.
No, but I really like this point because this was when Danny Burch and Lorcan had those titles and they were teaming with Pete Dunne. It was almost like a UK invasion almost kind of thing. But
this was before Undisputed sent them packing.
Yeah, and that whole feud was unfortunately involving another individual who we will not talk about.
Fair enough. What you
not
got
because
for
he's
me?
problematic, just because he's an asshole. LA Knight.
Was it his debut or no?
Yeah, I'm about to look it up.
Get on.
My bad. I was having.
We're trying to end this episode.
Looks like we've had enough talk.
Wait, it's ending. Yep. This
It
was
was
his
his
in-ring debut. Yeah.
Point for me. 1 point for me.
Hey, August Gray did pretty good for himself though. He now wrestles in Japan and a couple other places.
Shout out to August or September.
I can't remember what his current name is though.
Now, before we close, that's our last show, but we always do this at Every Time Travel. We get some stuff that doesn't get to make the cut, that we don't get to go into much detail about. Just a couple little fun facts for you. 1981, March 17th, 1981, at a live event in Allentown, Pennsylvania, the Moondogs, Rex and King, defeat Rick Martel and Tony Guerrero for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Around 8 weeks after the change, King was replaced by Spot on the Moondogs due to visa issues causing him issues traveling to the USA from Canada to work. That sucks. That was anticlimactic.
Honestly, I just love their team name, the Moondogs.
Yeah, I had to say it that way.
The Moondogs.
1993. 6 days after losing the WCW World Heavyweight Championship to Sting in London, Big Van Vader regained the title at an event in Dublin, Ireland. So he lost it in the UK and won it back in the UK. Love it. They were probably just on a European tour at that time.
Yeah.
2000. Millennia. One of the most acclaimed wrestling documentaries of all time, Beyond the Mat. Yeah, we've watched it.
Yep.
Was released nationwide in cinemas in the U.S. The film, directed by Barry Blaustein, took a look at the professional and family life of professional wrestlers from the smallest independent companies all the way up to the top echelons of WWE, and it was a interesting tape to watch. And the fact that came out in 2000 and we still were like, no, Vince can't be a bad guy. We all saw it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. 2001. This one's really interesting to me. Scott Norton defeated Kensuke Sasaki to become the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Wow, Scott Norton, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Little IWGP history for you on this day. 2009, and not the ECW we covered, but also taking place the same day. SmackDown in Corpus Christi. MVP won the WWE United States Championship with a win over Shelton Benjamin.
Damn. Well, there ain't no stopping him now.
2011. Here's a great one. TNA's Lockdown pay-per-view took place from the USA Bank Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio. And before I go and do a little read down of this, I want to say I liked that this made the cut. This was the first TNA pay-per-view I ever got to watch. I watched TNA before, and I watched it off and on. I never could afford pay-per-view at any stint. There's only 2 pay-per-views in my childhood I got to save up and watch. One was Great American Bash 08, and the other was this one. And that's because RVD was in the main event, and I thought he was winning the TNA title. I had to see it. All right. The main event of the show, which again, I thought it was a main event. We'll get into it in a second. The main event of the show saw Fortune, Christopher Daniels, Robert Roode, Frankie Kazarian, and James Storm defeat Immortal, Abyss, Bully Ray, Matt Hardy, and Ric Flair in a lethal lockdown match.
Cool. I would have rooted for the other team. I'm not going to allow to root for Fortune.
Yeah, world title match, not the main event, but we'll get there. Elsewhere on the card, Mickie James defeated Madison Rayne to win the Knockouts Championship in a title versus hair match. Also, Jeff Jarrett defeated Kurt Angle in a 2 out of 3 falls Ultra Rules match. This saw Angle win a submission match for the first fall, Jarrett win a pinfall-only match for the second fall, and Jarrett win a cage match for the final fall and victory. Wow. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship was up for grabs on the show. Champion Sting retained the belt in a triple threat match with Rob Van Dam and Mr. Anderson, and I thought Rob Van Dam was going over in that one.
I almost did the thing. I almost did the Kennedy thing. My bad.
TNA Jeff Hardy and TNA Rob Van Dam are some of my favorite things that people don't talk about enough.
I think I remember watching this one now because I think I remember that match specifically. Yeah. I wanted to see that.
He had a random podcast in 2011. I was listening, like the summer of 11, I remember I was listening to his random podcast on like a weird website.
A weird website.
Yeah. Him and Taz. All right, moving on. But same company. 2016, at an Impact Wrestling taping, and yes, we're still talking about TNA, they just wanted to only be Impact at that point. Jade won the Knockouts Championship when she defeated champion Gail Kim, one of the most iconic TNA women's champions, and Madison Rayne in a triple threat match. Also, Drew McIntyre successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Matt Hardy, and he was a great TNA champion.
Who was Jade again?
Look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. A thing of Jade Cargill popped up.
I know it's not Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it's not.
Just look up Jade TNA.
Jade Wrestle TNA, yeah.
While he does...
Jade...
Oh. Go ahead.
Hold on. We got...
Okay, while he does that, I'm going to kill this 2021 event. In the main event of St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of AEW Dynamite, Thunder Rosa defeated Britt Baker in a brutal lights-out match. And if you have not seen that match, it is on YouTube. Please go watch it. That and their steel cage match is some of the best women's wrestling I've seen. And it's been topped recently by Storm and Mariah May, but Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa killed it.
Yeah,
killed it.
Never mind, shut up. I'm not...
You couldn't find her?
No, I found it. I'm just... I don't want to mention my thoughts on... I believe it's Mia Yim.
You kidding?
Ring name Jade.
Yeah, wow, and she beat Gail Kim.
Because I remember...
Good for her.
So here's the thing. I remember Mia Yim being in TNA and having won the Knockouts Championship. And then I was like, wasn't her name like Jade something or other?
That's good for her. You know, I've always said she deserves more. I didn't know her career pre-WWE myself, so...
Yeah.
Sure as I was watching Impact in 2016. Well, I should have been, and Drew Galloway was a peak thing to watch. Looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I should have been doing that live. 2016, I was obsessed with Kenny Omega. I was obsessed with Jericho leaving. There was so much coming out of 16 that I was like,
I don't have time for Impact.
Chris Jericho in 2016 period just went hard because he's WWE list, leaves, goes to Japan. Oh, man. All right. We gotta end it. We've been here too long anyhow. Notable wrestling birthdays. There's some good ones in here, and then there's one I don't necessarily like. I detest it a little bit, I would even say.
I thought it was going to be the other one. I thought you were going to be smashing some pumpkins instead.
Notable wrestling birthdays. Brody King, born in 87. Samoa Joe, born in 79. Did not expect Joe to be born in the 70s. Test, 75. Even older than I would have imagined. And then go one step even older than that, but not surprising. Billy Corgan, 1967.
Damn. The world is a vampire.
That's all I have for you.
Yeah.
We got a time travel done. We did it. We did it for Retro Hall. We did it for you. I hope you enjoyed it.
All night, baby, I can't